Hello, family, and welcome back. All right, let's get into this because I laughed out loud when I saw the headline. And not a polite chuckle. I mean a full, oh, so we're doing this now kind of laugh. Because tell me why. Tell me why. Kate suddenly shows up at a Welsh brand that the entire fashion world knows was made globally famous by Meghan, Duchess of Sussex. Not Meghan Markle, not Harry's wife. Meghan, Duchess of Sussex. Put some respect on the name. And before anyone starts screaming, it's just a visit or she's supporting British brands, relax, breathe, unclench, because context is everything. And this is not happening in a vacuum. This is not random. This is not coincidence. This is not, oh, look, denim. This is pattern behavior. So today, we're unpacking why this visit has people talking, why the UK media is bending itself into a pretzel to pretend this is normal, and why, once again, Meghan's influence is so strong that even the institution that pushed her out keeps circling back to the blueprint she created. Because let's be honest, if originality were currency, Meghan would be printing money, and Kate would be asking for change. Now let's rewind. Back in 2018, Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, did what she always does effortlessly. She wore jeans. Just jeans. Calm, casual, unbothered. And those jeans happened to be from Hyatt Denim, a small Welsh brand. What happened next? Boom, explosion, demand through the roof, international coverage, orders flooding in. The founders themselves said it, the Meghan effect. Not speculation, not fandom exaggeration, their words. Meghan didn't do a ribbon cutting. She didn't do a factory tour with cameras flashing. She didn't do a look at me supporting local industry speech. She simply wore the jeans because that's her style. Authentic, intentional, modern. And the brand soared. Fast forward to now, Meghan has been gone from that institution for years. She's built a life, a family, businesses, philanthropic work, cultural impact, and global relevance outside the royal machine. She doesn't need palace permission to trend. She doesn't need rota coverage to move markets. And yet, here comes Kate, to Wales, to that brand. Suddenly, the cameras are rolling. Suddenly, it's heritage craftsmanship. Suddenly, it's supporting sustainability. Suddenly, it's modern royal engagement. Where was all this enthusiasm when Meghan was doing it naturally? Oh, right, that was called breaking protocol, too political, attention-seeking, and trying to outshine. Funny how the script flips when the messenger changes. And listen. This is not about jealousy in a childish sense. This is not she wants to wear her clothes too. No, this is about influence. Because Meghan changed the game. Before Meghan, royal fashion was predictable, safe, boring. Recycled coats, neutral tones, zero personality. The clothes wore the women, not the other way around. Meghan walked in and said, I'm a modern woman. I support ethical brands. I highlight women designers. I mix high and low. I wear clothes that fit my body and my life. And the world paid attention. Kate didn't set that trend. Kate followed it. And that's the uncomfortable truth the UK media never wants to say out loud. Because every time Meghan does something, whether it's fashion, philanthropy, or public engagement, it gets scrutinized, demonized, and dragged. Then quietly, subtly, someone else does the same thing, and suddenly it's evolution. No, that's imitation with better PR. Let's talk about the media reaction, because GB News really woke up and chose delusion. Instead of acknowledging the obvious, Meghan's lasting impact, they frame this as Kate championing a brand, as if Meghan didn't already do that years ago without a photo op tour. They want you to forget the timeline. They want you to forget who made that brand internationally recognizable. They want you to believe Kate discovered it through sheer curiosity and not, Google. Because heaven forbid they admit that Meghan's influence didn't disappear when she left the UK. If anything, it grew stronger. And here's where it gets funny. The same outlets that swore Meghan was irrelevant, unwanted, disliked, and no longer royal cannot stop referencing the things she made popular. Her fashion choices, still copied. Her causes, suddenly safe. Her approach to royalty, being quietly adopted. But they'll never say thank you. They'll just show up after the fact and act like pioneers. Now let's zoom out, because this isn't just about denim. This is about branding. Meghan understands branding in a way the palace never did. She understood that visibility is power, that authenticity resonates, that people connect to realness, not stiffness. Kate, on the other hand, exists within a system that reacts rather than leads. Everything is calculated, tested, approved, and sanitized. So when they see something work, really work, elsewhere, they slowly incorporate it. And Meghan has been the uncredited consultant for years. Think about it. Suddenly, Kate is doing more casual looks. Suddenly, she's engaging with children differently. Suddenly, there's emphasis on early years branding and visibility. Suddenly, there's talk of modernizing the monarchy. Again, all things Meghan was criticized for even suggesting. But now it's forward thinking. Okay. And here's the part that really makes this delicious. If Meghan truly had no impact, if she was truly as insignificant as the tabloids claim, why is her shadow still so long? Why do her fashion choices still define what's current? Why do brands she wore years ago still get mentioned in relation to royal visits? Why does her name still generate clicks, rage, obsession, and engagement? You don't chase ghosts, you chase relevance. And Meghan has it in abundance. Now, let me be clear, because nuance matters. This is not me saying Kate can't visit a Welsh brand. Of course she can. She's the Princess of Wales. Supporting local industry is literally part of the job. But what we are not going to do is pretend that the history doesn't exist. We're not going to erase Meghan's role. We're not going to rewrite the narrative to make it seem like this brand just magically appeared on the royal radar. Because it didn't. Meghan put it there. And that's why people are talking. That's why social media clocked it instantly. That's why the comparisons are happening, no matter how much the palace-friendly press wants to shut them down. Because influence leaves fingerprints, and Meghan's are everywhere. What makes this even more ironic is that Meghan never needed to announce her influence. She never had to say, "Look what I did." The results spoke for themselves. Meanwhile, the institution that failed to protect her now benefits from the pathways she opened, and they're hoping nobody notices. But we noticed. We always do. And here's the kicker. Meghan isn't even trying to compete anymore. She's living her life, raising her children, building projects, minding her peace. She's not watching palace schedules or calculating optics, which makes this whole thing even telling. Because while Meghan moved on, the institution is still circling her legacy. That's not rivalry. That's impact. So when people say Kate wants to be Meghan, it's not about personality or style mimicry in a shallow sense. It's about this. Meghan represents what the monarchy struggles to be: relevant, human, globally resonant. And no amount of carefully curated visits can recreate authenticity. You can visit the brand, you can wear the jeans, you can smile for the cameras, but you can't manufacture the moment. Meghan didn't chase moments. Moments chased her. And that's the difference. So as the UK media twists itself into knots, trying to frame this as anything other than what it is, remember this. Trends don't start where they're repeated. They start where they're born. And whether they like it or not, Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, changed the landscape. Still, quietly, effortlessly, and unmistakably. Thank you for watching, and see you in the